Hey guys, I'm Nate, and for the last couple of months, me, my wife Kennedy, and my puppy have been traveling and camping out of our Jeep Wrangler. All right, so I figured we'd start inside the Jeep in driving mode. So usually we have two kind of different setups. We have the setup we have for just driving, going to wherever we're going, and then we kind of move some stuff around for when we are settled and we want to camp. So we're starting off in the driving setup. Obviously, in the driver's seat, we have some ducks and stuff there. And we have our hood that has about 1,000 little dents in it. And if you guys want to know why our Jeep is so badly dented, you guys can go watch our last video, which I'll leave a link to. The Jeep is kind of messy right now, and it usually kind of is in driving mode just because we have all our stuff pretty much just thrown in here as we travel. And we kind of move stuff around a little bit, but it's usually not super clean, and so we move everything. But obviously, we got the front here. I guess the main stuff is how we handle the back, which basically is kind of a mess right now. But we usually, with the puppy, he likes being actually in his crate when we drive a lot. I think he finds it safe. So we have this really, really nice crate that I'll show off later. And it fits like perfectly in this Jeep. And so we usually put him in there. And then that way we can always just turn around, see him, and he has his little stuff in there too. So it's just where he likes to ride while we're driving places. And then we have pretty much everything else just put around it at this moment. So, but other than that, that's pretty much the basic. I mean, it's for driving. We just basically got to be able to drive. So everything else is just kind of thrown in the back. So I'm going to kind of switch everything around, clean some stuff up, and kind of set it up for camping mode, and I will show you guys the rest there. All right, so I got everything kind of cleaned out in the back right now. And to kind of start it off, we have this, it's just like a normal, it's like a picnic blanket, and we pretty much just lay it down to kind of cover up. When we put the seats down in the back, there's like all of this stuff from the seats. So we put that blanket down over it to kind of suppress the feeling of that when you're laying down on top. Okay, so the next thing, which is probably the most important thing in our setup, are these two Ozark Trail sleeping bags from Walmart. We bought these like the first time we ever went out on a trip. I think they're rated for like 35-degree weather. But pretty much these things, when it's cold out, keep us warm at night. And they are pretty comfy actually. But basically they're probably the most important thing in our setup. I do know that sometimes people get like a mattress or something to put in the back, but we didn't really want to spend that much money on anything yet. So I think these were only about $25 a piece from Walmart. So for the price, I think they're really good. And then we can add in these little Ozark Trail camping pillows. They also, I don't think were super expensive. We also got them from Walmart at the same time. And they're just tiny little pillows we use. And they work pretty well, and they also don't take up a lot of room. So, and as far as everything else goes, we usually bring one or two bigger knitted blankets, kind of like this, just to keep us warm at night. And then once we get everything moved up front, this is kind of what it kind of looks like. We kind of just, I mean, it's not the cleanest thing either, but we just kind of pretty much move everything that we have that was back there, and we put it up front. We did get this storage bin that we use that is super helpful to just keep, we usually just have our food stuff in here, any little things like that to keep things organized. And it also doesn't take up a ton of space, and it just kind of saves us some space. And then we usually bring a couple of backpacks and a duffel bag for clothes, camera stuff, and everything else. But pretty much, this is kind of what it looks like up front once you move everything up front. Another big part of our setup is this leisure dog crate that we have for him. He's currently in there right now trying to take a nap, or he's supposed to be anyways. But this dog crate is super, super nice, pretty soft, and has quite a few storage pockets, but it also collapses. So it's super good when we need to move it anywhere. We usually, like I showed in the first, or up front, we usually keep it up in the back whenever we're driving anywhere. And then at night, when we're not using it and we don't have it outside, we can fold it up and it gets super flat, and we can usually put it like right here, kind of angled, and just lay it straight like that, and it fits perfectly in there. And then that way we don't have to have anything outside. And then one more little thing for storage back here. I think all Jeeps have this, but there's a nice little pocket right there that we usually keep our hammocks in and some other gear, but we actually have our hammock set up right now. So, and then once we're inside for the night, we usually leave the windows all cracked a little bit just so it doesn't get too foggy in here or anything in the morning for the windows and stuff. And then we also have this nice little lantern that we just paracorded to the roll cage that we use sometimes when it's nighttime. And it has a couple different modes, so it helps a lot in here, because usually it gets pretty dark in here and then you can't really see anything. And then this is pretty much the setup for the bed. It is, honestly, you wouldn't think it would be that comfy, but it is actually pretty comfy. I mean, you could always get like a mattress or a cushion for under it, but these sleeping bags do pretty good. And then we keep just like a flashlight, some paracord, and whatever else we need in some of these pockets, just in case we need anything towards the night. And I usually keep a coat or two in here too, if I just want a little extra padding, kind of for the pillow. And then, as you can see, there are no window covers, so there's not a lot of privacy. So what we've done to come up with that, just because we haven't bought window covers yet, and we don't want to spend a lot of money on them, but we also don't want like really bad ones. So we've seen that people make them themselves, so we've been thinking about doing that. But for now, as a replacement, we take this blanket and we put it up over the roll cage bars. All right, and as far as privacy goes, we kind of got this set up now. We basically just took the blanket and then took it on the outside of the roll cage, and then just came full way around on both sides, and then looped the blanket through the handle and then kind of just through the seat head, just to make sure it stays kind of in place. And we can kind of move these a bit to cover the windows more and stuff. And then obviously the front's exposed right now, but usually when you get the dog crate in here and it's like sideways, we also have a thing for the Jeep lids. So we have a kind of like a case for the Jeep lids that we can just take the lids out and put them in there to protect them, and then still keep them in the Jeep. And we usually keep, it's like a bag. We usually keep the bag with us. So what we usually do is put the bag up front to kind of block out the front of the Jeep. But usually also when it gets dark, we're feel pretty safe in here. So, and then you can just lock the doors once you get in, usually coming from the doors, because it's a lot harder to get in through the back way once you have all of this set up. But once you get everything set up, you can just lock the doors and kind of just chill out in here. So this is what we did to Jeep camp. And then this is kind of what it looks like from the outside with this thing set up. You can't really see anything in there, especially when it's dark out. And we usually don't keep the light on at night. So, all right, so that's kind of all of our Jeep camping setup, other than the kitchen. Obviously, we don't have an actual kitchen, but I did show you guys this earlier. It's kind of just the bin that we use to hold all of our food stuff or supplies. We bring usually a couple bowls, some silverware, and usually a pot and a pan or so. And then obviously all of our food. Recently, we usually bring some like canned chicken, rice, pasta, some soup, and we usually get a bunch of water because we usually need it, and we usually go through quite a bit. So other than that, we have our stove, which has been a pretty helpful purchase. That just makes things a little nicer when we're traveling. So this is just a Ozark Trail stove. I think a lot of our stuff is Ozark Trail just because we got most of it from Walmart. But this whole thing is actually super, super nice. It's super easy to set up. You just take it out of the case It's all here. You flip this over, and then you buy some butane, and then you can just put the can in here, close it, start it, or lock it in, and then start it. And it actually heats up like really fast. Like it actually boils stuff quicker than than the stove at the house. So for camping stuff and what we usually bring, this is usually perfect. Other than that, it's pretty much all for our Jeep camping setup. So I hope you guys enjoyed. If you did, make sure you subscribe and leave a like on this video.